Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rant? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual. You guys know the deal on this channel, man. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, man, and holding these guys to a standard, guys. Right? Holding them to a standard is very important. And in this video, we're going to talk about something that I see that must be the case. It has to be the case that the LeBron James fans, they never played sports growing up, guys. They never played competitive sports growing up. This is what I'm getting after my couple of years on YouTube and dealing with some of these people and listening to things that they say and listening to the excuses that they make and how they won't hold LeBron James accountable for anything. I'm assuming, and a lot of us have done this in the past, that these guys don't play sports. But I'm telling you guys right now, there's no way in hell that the LeBron James fans, these LeBron James fans, ever played competitive sports. And we're going to break it down in this video, guys, what I mean by that and how we can see this, how we know this. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel, guys. Much respect to all you guys out there. Shout out to everybody that came through. And the live show I was on yesterday on the GoCast podcast, or GoCast Hoops podcast last night. It got a little heated there, man. Shout out to Sports T. She came through. And like I said, just shout out to the GoCast Hoops for having me on the show. And I had a good time. So shout out to everybody that came through, man. And thank you guys for all your continued support. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to do a video on the LeBron James fans, man, and how I feel that these guys, or I've come to the determination, the realization that these people did not play sports growing up, guys. They did not play competitive sports. Now, when I say play competitive sports, I'm not saying these guys, they didn't play in the NBA. They didn't play college. I'm not saying you to be good at sports. It's not about being good. It ain't about you being good at the sport you play. I've talked about this in my fitness videos. Like about kids. Just because you're a child, you put them in sports and they're not quote unquote good at the sport, doesn't mean that they should quit the sport or they should stop playing the sport. Because sports is more than you being good at the sport or you being, oh, I'm going to go and make it a career and playing college or play professionally. Sports is more than that. Sports is about keeping kids off the streets. Sports is about keeping kids active, right? Keeping them healthy and things of that nature. It's also about being competitive and learning things because sports oftentimes imitates life, guys. When we talk about the things I talk about on this channel, and I talk about integrity, class, honor, the respect, all of these things, right, add up and go into sports. These things happen in sports. When I talk about sportsmanship on this channel, guys, these are the kinds of things I'm telling you the LeBron James fans don't seem to get. And LeBron James himself does not carry himself and hold himself to those values. And he does not. He doesn't hold himself accountable, hold himself to a standard. He always makes excuses. He plays the victim. He always needs help. And his fans are the same way. They don't respect these kinds of things that I bring up on this channel. They laugh at this stuff. And the reason why they do this is because they did not play competitive sports. Once again, you don't have to be good at sports to play a sport or to enjoy the sport or to be competitive. You don't have to be necessarily good, a star player to be competitive. The competitiveness in somebody has to do with their mindset, what's beating inside their chest, their heart, right? That's what makes you a true competitor. Going out there, not making excuses, right? Not being soft, not being a victim, giving it your all, going out there and earning it. Like I said, giving your all, man, at all times. These are the kinds of things I'm alluding to on this channel when I tell you guys, these men that I grew up watching, they gave the effort consistently. Not every play. They were not perfect, but they were consistent. And that's why we respect them all these years later. They were giving the effort, the hustle. Excuse me, guys. So this goes to what I'm talking about. This goes to your competitiveness, being a true competitor. When these people, the LeBron James fans, they laugh at some of these guys that played in the 80s and 90s, and they talk about them being white guys and plumbers and taxi cab drivers, and they'll point out somebody in a picture and make a stupid post. They're not realizing or they're not understanding what a true competitor is. A true competitor has nothing to do with your skin color. It got nothing to do with how tall you are or how good you are. To be a competitor has nothing to do with your overall skills. It has to do with, once again, your mindset, the heartbeat inside of you. That's what it has to do with, guys. The way you are, what you believe, what you stand on, how you carry yourself. This is what makes you a professional, a competitor. So, when I talk about the LeBron James fans not being competitors or not playing sports, you can tell right away because they do not respect the competitiveness of sports. They'll make excuses for LeBron James building super teams. They'll make excuses for these guys today forming up and joining each other, right? Because they're not being or understanding the aspect of sports and what sports are supposed to be. It's supposed to be competitive. This is why I tell you kids should be playing sports for the competitiveness. It's good for children to have that competitiveness, especially at a young age, to test themselves against other kids their age. This is what it's about, guys. This is what sports is about. I told you guys before, I put a poll up a long time ago, and I asked people, did sports help you make friends when you were a kid growing up? And a lot of you guys said yes. And it was the same for me, guys. I had friends in different high schools, rival high schools. I had friends in these other schools because of sports, because I played sports. They respected me because I played sports. We knew each other. So playing sports allows your kids to make friends, right? To be social. That's a big problem in society now. The socialness of these kids. Everybody wants to sit inside and play video games. Sometimes you need these kids to get out there and get active and be out there with other children. The interaction, guys, they need these kinds of things. So the LeBron James fans don't get this kinds of stuff. They don't get it because they did not play the sports. So they don't respect competition. They don't respect sportsmanship. When LeBron James walks off the court early, guys, and does not shake hands, right? And he walks off with 2-3 minutes to go. Whatever the case may be, he walks off by himself. He don't lead his team off the court. He goes by himself. When he does these things, the LeBron James fans excuse it. They don't care about it because they did not play sports. Anyone that's played sports, like I said, don't matter how good you are, whatever level it was, sportsmanship is the first thing you learn. I coach kids in basketball, baseball, and football, guys. I coach 3 sports. Young kids, 6, 7 years old. My son I coach. Sportsmanship is big at those ages. It's big at those ages. So why is it not big for grown men, for professionals, to act like professionals, to be true professionals, to have sportsmanship, to carry themselves with class and honor? That's not too much to ask for a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old who's getting paid millions of dollars, because this is what we're teaching kids at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old who are not getting paid to play. They're playing for a love of the game, for the sport that they're playing. So, once again, the LeBron James fans obviously did not play sports growing up when they were a kid or even as adults because they don't respect the sportsmanship or lack of from LeBron James. So they don't care about him walking over not shaking hands when literally that's what you do after every game. You line up and you shake hands and you say, yo, good game, guys. That's what you do, right? Isn't that what you guys did when you were growing up playing sports? You guys stay on the field, on the court, whatever it was, and you lined up and then you shook hands after the game. No matter how heated it was, no matter what your rival was. This is what you did, guys. That's called sportsmanship. This is called being a true professional. These guys are not true professionals. They don't want to be professionals, pros. That word gets thrown around a lot. And people will say, oh, you're a professional because you get paid to play a sport. That makes you a pro. But there's other things that come along with being a professional. Carrying yourself with the honor, the integrity, playing with the love of the game, respecting the fans, right? Respecting your contracts, respecting the game. These guys don't do this as much. They ain't the same. So these are the kinds of things that we're talking about on this channel with these guys. They're not trying to be true professionals. Look at the way these guys dress. They're not dressed like a professional. Is that how professionals dress? People can say whatever they want, man, about these guys' outfits. That's not how a professional dresses, guys. These guys think they're professional fashion designers. They're not. You're a professional athlete. Why are you more concerned about wearing these goofy outfits, sponsoring some weird clothing line, than you are worried about the game plan or the game at hand or playing in the game? These guys want to sit on the sideline and wear their goofy clothes. That's what they want to do. They don't care about the actual game. They want to go to the club after the game. They want to hang out with this celebrity and that celebrity. They want to be on this podcast or that podcast now. These guys are a bunch of goofs, man. They're not grown men. They're not true professionals. They're a bunch of clowns. I told you, they're not basketball players anymore. These guys are TikTok stars. They're reality stars. They're podcasters that happen to play professional basketball. That's what we're doing now. Whereas back in the day, you had actual NBA basketball players playing basketball. They weren't plumbers and taxi cab drivers. They were actual basketball players. That's what they focused on. These guys are not focused on that now. They're all over the place. They're more worried about their brand. They're more worried about getting injured, so they sit out games all the time. So once again, the LeBron James fans don't appreciate sportsmanship or competitiveness. They don't respect the game of basketball that way. This is why they watch highlights. They don't watch the game. They don't respect the game. They did not play sports. If you played basketball growing up, if you played it, then once again, you would respect it more. You would. If you watched it growing up, then you would respect it more. They love to call us old heads. Oh, you guys are old heads, man. You know, we're done with the 80s. We're done with the 90s. Michael Jordan ain't playing again. His time has passed. Blah, 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 blah. These people say all these kinds of things. But once again, they're forgetting the main point here and the premise behind what we're saying. We're not old heads just tearing down these guys today because, once again, we're not lying about these players. We're not creating narratives about these players. Everything that I've said on this channel is facts. It's factual. That's the problem. The guys today are not speaking facts about the past eras. They're the ones who are creating the narratives and the lies. So that's why we're here to set the record straight on these fools. Many of these people were not even old enough to watch this stuff, but yet they speak on it. That's a big problem. Speaking about things you know nothing about. A lot of these guys, they don't know the NBA before 2010. They don't. All they know is a 2010 and now NBA. That's all they know. But yet they're always doing videos or they're making podcasts and they're talking about the 80s and the 90s when they did not even watch this stuff. And they damn sure didn't know the guys in the 60s and the 70s, but they continue to tear these guys down with lies and narratives. They were not there to witness this, so they should shut the hell up about these things. When you say we're an old head, what we're doing here is we're trying to educate you fools and give you guys a perspective and the understanding that we watched this stuff from the 80s and the 90s, so we have more of a right? We have more cachet to make the comparisons from that era to this era. Because we witnessed the errors. We can see the differences. We're being honest here, guys. We watched real basketball in the 80s and the 90s. We watched a real all-star game happen. We watched a real dream team play. Look at the all-star game now. I always bring up the all-star game, guys, because it's the glaring, obvious thing. It's a red flag of the NBA right now, is the all-star game. And why is it? Because the All-Star game used to be the standard across all sports, guys. It was the NBA All-Star game, not the NFL's Pro Bowl or Major League Baseball's All-Star game or the hockey All-Star game. It was the NBA All-Star weekend. That was the standard. And now it's fallen off. So that's why we highlight the NBA All-Star game now, because back in the day, the All-Star game was competitive. These guys would foul each other. They would foul out in the All-Star games. It mattered to them. I told you guys, growing up, what I remember is this. The All-Star game would go something like this. The game would start out, it would be competitive from start to finish, but the game would start out. These guys would do a show. They put on a show for the fans, for the people, the first half, right? They would put on a show, doing all kinds of crazy moves, showing their skills, showcasing their talents, but at the same time, being competitive and playing defense, right? Challenging guys' shots, fouling each other, things of that nature. What would happen was the second half would come, and all of a sudden, they would ramp it up. All of a sudden, now they would put it on. And now these guys are really going at it. And then when the fourth quarter came around, the last couple of minutes, my God, these guys would go at it, man. It would get very contested, man. That's how the All-Star game went, guys, in the 90s. Those are the facts, man. I'm not exaggerating here or trying to pump them up because I want them to look good. That's not what it's about, man. These are the facts. This is what we're talking about, the standard. The standard has been lowered. They want to lower the standard. Instead of raising the standard, we should be raising the standard for the players today, not lowering it. We should be raising it. The guys from back in the day did not have all the advantages of the players today. So, once again, they should be raising the standard now for these guys who have all the advantages in their favor now. But for some reason, the guys in the 50s and the 60s were playing and held to a higher standard than the guys are today, right? They couldn't dribble like these guys dribble today. They couldn't do all these things that these guys do today. So I think you guys know the deal, man. The LeBron James fans, it's clear that they did not play sports, competitive sports growing up. They just did not play them, guys. They did not play competitive sports. There's no way. You listen to them speak. You listen to how they don't hold LeBron James accountable for any of his actions. That's what shows you that LeBron James or that their fans did not watch sports. Or play sports, because they don't appreciate those things. They don't appreciate these guys being true professionals or being true competitors. They don't appreciate something like sportsmanship. They don't. We do. These are things that we highlight. Having a love of the game. Working on your game. These guys don't do that. LeBron James fans don't seem to get this stuff. So we're just old heads hating. They love these, oh, you guys just haters. That lets you know they have nothing to say, nothing to dispute. They just say hate. Because I told you guys, facts can never be hate. It can't be. It's the facts. And what do they say, guys? The truth hurts. Don't they say that? And that's the problem for the LeBron James fans. The facts, the truth hurts. They don't want to listen to the truth. They don't want to live in reality. They want to make up and bend reality and create a false narrative here and lie and tear down the past eras. Once again, all of the LeBron James fans, if you have to tear down the past eras to make these guys look good, and once again, it shows you that these guys are not that great. They're not standing on anything. If the guys that came before you were not great, then you're not being compared or judged against greatness. This is why I say they've lowered the standard. They won't hold them to the standard of Bill Russell or Michael Jordan, right? They want to hold them to these standards. They have to lower the standard down, make the game soft, right? To make these guys appear greater, and then tell you at the same time, those guys were not great athletes. They were not skilled. They weren't even basketball players. I don't know who they were. They were plumbers and taxi cab drivers. Apparently, they were attorneys and politicians out there. They were not professional athletes. Only over the last 10 years, 15 years, has the NBA actually had NBA players playing in the NBA. This is what they want you to believe. That sounds crazy, guys. That shows you that they don't appreciate or respect the history of the game, and they're not true competitors. They're not athletes. They did not play sports. If they played sports, they would hold LeBron James to a higher standard. They would, but they won't do that because they don't appreciate sports or understand the value of some of these things I'm talking about. They don't get this stuff. So they let LeBron James come to a post-game press conference and make excuses. They let him do this. They'll always say, oh, he needs more help. He always needs more help. Once again, more excuses for LeBron James. That's not being a true competitor. That's not making LeBron James raise his level of play. They never make LeBron James raise his level of play. What do they say to LeBron James fans? Oh, you name me one team that Michael Jordan beat in the finals that was better than the 2017 Warriors. This is what they say. So once again, you're making it about Michael Jordan's competition. You're not making it about LeBron James having to raise his level of play. You're not making it about that. You're giving him an excuse. Oh, what do you want from LeBron James? He couldn't beat these guys. Once again, you've excused LeBron James. That's fine. LeBron James lost. He didn't raise his level of play. He did not become the X factor or the difference maker in the playoff series or in the finals. Whatever the case may be. You can't then turn around and talk about Michael Jordan's competition. Because we can easily say LeBron James was playing in the softest era in the history of the game. So don't talk about the 2017 Warriors, but they're soft, frail players. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson is frail. Steph Curry is frail. Kevin Durant's obviously frail. So I'm not worried or concerned about those guys playing in the 90s or the teams that they win against, Michael Jordan win against in the 90s. Well, wait, like I said, we're just as formidable as any team LeBron James faced. Do not believe the hype. Once again, they want you to believe that LeBron James only lost because his team was not good enough. This is how they excuse the losses. So what they want you to believe, or what they want to try to say, is that Michael Jordan should have lost more finals because that would have showed that he played against greater competition. It don't add up. Because what they're doing is excusing Michael Jordan from raising his level of play and being the X factor, being the closer, the difference maker in a series. Michael Jordan's team was not always the best team top to bottom. They may have been the favorite, but why were they the favorite? Because of Michael Jordan. Once again, you can't excuse Michael Jordan's greatness. But they were not the best team top to bottom. I told you guys, in 1991, you could easily argue top to bottom the Lakers were greater. They had more experience. They were the favorite going into that. Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Byron Scott, Vlade Divac, Sam Perkins. I mean, what are we talking about here? They were a formidable team with good players. We talk about the Portland Trail Blazers, and we talk about top to bottom. You're talking about Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Kevin Duckworth, Jerome Kersey, Cliff Robinson, Buck Williams, Danny Ainge. I just went seven guys deep. And all of those guys were quality players. Almost every one of those guys I mentioned made at least one all-star team in their careers. I think actually every one of those guys, except maybe Jerome Kersey, made an all-star team. Every one of them. But Michael Jordan had guys like Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright. Right? How old was Bill Cartwright in 1992? Anybody ever see Bill Cartwright shoot the ball? The difference was Michael Jordan, guys. Remember, the series was tied 2 games apiece. And then Michael Jordan dropped 40 plus in game 5. So he raised his level of play when it mattered most. We think about the Phoenix Suns in 1993. Once again, top to bottom, a greater team than the Chicago Bulls. When you're talking about Charles Barkley, you're talking about Kevin Johnson, you're talking about Tom Chambers, Danny Ainge, Dan Marley, right? Oliver Miller. You talk about guys like, what's his name? This guy's name is going to elude me right now. Richard Dumas, right? You know, before he had all jacked up on the drugs. These are the players that were on that team. This is a very, very formidable team. This is why they won so many games. And in that series, the Phoenix Suns and the Chicago Bulls both scored the identical amount of points. The exact same amount of total points, guys. And that's how close the series was. What was the difference? Michael Jordan's 41 points a game. That was the difference, guys. Literally, that was the difference. Michael Jordan raising his level of play when it mattered most. So once again, they're trying to excuse Michael Jordan for not losing. Right? Oh, Michael Jordan didn't lose. They didn't play anybody. No, Michael Jordan didn't lose because he did not allow the Bulls to lose. He raised his level. He never folded up. He never choked. When it mattered most, he was there. 1996, same thing in 96. Top to bottom. The Seattle Supersonics, guys, as great as the 96 Bulls were, and we recognize them as a great team of all time. Why do people recognize the Bulls as the greatest team of all time? Why do many people do that? Because of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, right? Because of the defensive abilities of these guys and what Michael Jordan's ability to close games out and be that dude. No one can match him with Michael Jordan in the history of the game. No one can match him. And we talk about him performing and raising his level of play, galvanizing the players around him, maximizing every player around him, doing more with less. No one's done it more than Michael Jordan or greater than Michael Jordan, guys. These are the facts. So top to bottom, when you have Detlef Schrempf, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Hersey Hawkins, Nate McMillan, right? When you have some of these guys on that team, it's a very good team. These guys are a formidable team. Same thing could be said for the Utah Jazz. So once again, guys, as you guys can see, the LeBron James fans didn't play sports growing up. They don't appreciate sports. They don't appreciate the competitiveness of sports. They don't appreciate sportsmanship because they did not play sports, guys. They did not. Because once again, when I talk about integrity, honor, class on this channel, it's not about, once again, LeBron James or you recognizing Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. What I'm telling you on this channel is that LeBron James is not worthy enough to be in a conversation with Michael Jordan or the other great players in the NBA, the other top 5, 10 players. He's not worthy of it because he hasn't carried himself as a true professional, as a true competitor. All these years, he's cheated the game. He's cheated the fans. He hasn't played with that love of the game. He's played for a love of the money, a love of the fame. He loves what he gets from the game, not what he can give back to the game. He has given nothing back to the game, LeBron James. Has he given anything to any organization? No. All he does is handcuff them, force them to make all these trades, trade all their assets away, pay him all this money, and then he leaves. He only cares about what he can get from each franchise, how much star power they can put around him. It ain't about LeBron James working on the guys that he has there or, playing the hand you were dealt, so to speak. He don't want to do that stuff. He don't want to work with none of these guys. He wants all the help around him, and then they'll still talk about, LeBron James never played for a great organization. LeBron James never had a great coach. LeBron James never had any help. It's never enough. LeBron James fans are you guys are dirtbags, man. You guys are a bunch of fools. LeBron James is a fool. So the people who support him have to be fools. Right? You gravitate to who is like you. So when I tell you guys that I'm proud to be a Michael Jordan supporter, the reason I can say that and not think twice about it is because the way that Michael Jordan carried himself on and off the court with straight class, integrity, and honor. He played with that love of the game. He gave the effort. He didn't cheat the game. You cannot say the same thing for LeBron James, guys, for 21 years. This man's been flopping. He's been team hopping. He's been cheating the game, walking off the court early, showing a lack of sportsmanship. Always talking about he ain't got no help. Always blaming his teammates, getting coaches fired, refusing to play in an actual system, not galvanizing the people around him, not playing with that love of the game. Remember, guys, Michael Jordan had a love of the game clause in his contract. LeBron James, a no trade clause in his. This is a different dynamic, guys. Remember, LeBron James does things for charity for the recognition he gets. Michael Jordan doesn't do those things. He does things because he wants to do them, because it matters to him, not for the publicity of it. And the LeBron James fans, you guys don't seem to get a lot of this stuff. You don't get the competitiveness of sports because you didn't play sports growing up. So you don't respect what we're talking about or what I'm talking about on this channel. You guys don't get it. But you other guys, my supporters out there, you guys know the deal what I'm talking about. You played sports growing up. Once again, you don't got to be great at sport or even be good at sport, but you were out there competing, giving it your all. And oftentimes, the guys who don't have the talent, the skills of some of the other kids out there that play sports, they have to work harder. They have to be even more competitive to keep up with the guys who are more skilled. These guys today, they take all this stuff for granted now. So they don't work on their games. They don't care to. Right? They're entitled to all the money. How dare we criticize them? You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.